that I'm going to be covering in this stream. Basically, what does starting a business look like? And what do you do before you actually start a business? Let me see here. Let me see how this looks on YouTube right now. I don't see anybody in here just yet, so let me go to my channel and see what this looks like. All right. There we go. I think people are starting to come in. Good morning, everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? This is my first time streaming anything ever live on the platform, even though I've been doing this for like 4 years. But yeah, I'm happy to have you guys here today. And yeah, feel free to leave a comment if you can hear me okay. That'd be super helpful. Hey, calendar bum, there you are. Okay. Well, good morning. Are you on the East Coast or West Coast? Hopefully the audio level's okay, because like I said, I can't hear how I sound on my end. So if I'm too loud, just let me know. Because like I said, all of this is this whole streaming thing is brand new to me, and I'm hoping the volume level's okay. Hey, Going Green Mom. Good morning. Okay, you're in Idaho. Hey, Sharon. Good morning. Oh, it's California. Okay, what part of California are you in? I'm here in Modesto, so Central Valley. All right, so I'm gonna have some note. You're gonna see me looking to the left a little bit during the stream. So I have some notes that I've typed up that discuss, what kind of things we should think about before actually launching and getting started in a business. And so if you see me looking at one of my other screens, then that's what that is. And then I'll be sharing some stuff on screen with you as well. So let me just get this situated, and we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, hi, Sharon. You're in Sacramento. Okay. I have a few clients I work with up in Sacramento. So, good morning, Jerry from Virginia. Oh, Going Green Mom says I'm too perky, and you're in Indiana. Yeah, so I'm an early bird, so that's why I post these nerdy YouTube videos so early. I've already had a cup of coffee, but just one, so I'll try not to drown you guys out in excitement. So, as you can tell, I'm pretty nervous. I'm used to doing like public speaking. I'm actually more comfortable with that than doing like these type of presentations over the internet. So because it's nice to be able to see people's faces, and so that's how I can gauge how the interaction is going. But yeah, this is just a new thing, and I'm probably gonna suck this first time through, but hey, we're gonna make the most of it. Oh, you thought I was in SoCal? Yeah, it's when people reach out to me for accounting services, or just if I'm talking to anybody from another state, they always think I'm like near the ocean. I'm more in the farm belt of California, where all the food is grown, but I'm about like 2 hours from the actual ocean. I wish I was near the ocean more, but yeah, it is what it is. So the Central Valley is not too bad. It's it's not as congested as like like the Silicon Valley in terms of traffic and the commute. It's much. I actually enjoy it. It's a little bit slower pace lifestyle here in the Central Valley. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'll just start diving in. And yeah, feel free to join in the conversation, because I want this to be kind of like a discussion. So I'll be looking back and forth at the comments as we're going through this. And I've listed about, I don't even know if I'll get through them all, but 50 different points or 50 different things to think about to process before you really start a business. So with millions of, as you guys know, like inflation is crazy right now, right? What is it? The last number I saw was 8.6% or 9%, but I think it's higher than that personally. And there's so many people across the country right now just telling me they're doing every little thing they can to get by. And one of those things they're doing is side hustles. They're either Now, most of these people I'm talking to they're employed already, which is great, but they're thinking about starting a part-time business. And some people are thinking about launching a full-time business, or even taking their business from a hobby, or turning a hobby into a business. So that's the kind of things we're going to talk about today. And there's a lot I had to process to get ready to launch my accounting practice here, because I was always an employee up until, gosh, February of this year is when I became a full-time business owner. And there's was a lot I didn't expect before I actually got into it. And I really want to take this channel a little bit in a new direction, where I really want to help people not only with taxes and accounting, but really encourage them to grow their wealth through business ownership, because I see that being the one of their most lucrative options to gain extra income and really pursue their passions. So let me pull up this screen here. Oh, good morning, Jennifer. Hi, Sharon. Yes, I do use Zoom quite a bit. I actually, most of my client meetings are actually on Zoom. Is where I run those. So I'm pulling up a list right now, and at some point I'll probably share this on screen. But so what's the first thing? The thing before starting the business, what's the first thing we should be thinking about? And I always start with, it's a lot of these things are just common sense stuff when you look back and look at this. But what are you truly passionate about? Because when you get started in business, there are a number of challenges that you're going to have to overcome. And some days I can tell you business is going to be great, and other days business is not going to be so great. And so you're going to have good times and bad times. But I think passion is so important, because you're going to need that passion to carry you through the lulls, because it's going to be like a roller coaster of emotions. And that has been for me. There's days where I get, like, just the other day, I was meeting with a new client. And while I'm meeting with a new client, my business cell phone was ringing. I had it on silent. Well, when I got out of that meeting, I had two more referrals just after that meeting. So I was getting, I'm getting business like crazy, which is wonderful. So it was really exciting. But there's other days where I find, oh, some meetings might get canceled. The, it's hard to get a hold of somebody. Sometimes most of my clients have been great in terms of paying me, but sometimes you have to give them a little extra nudge to say, hey, you still have an outstanding invoice. So there's just a lot of stuff you're going to deal with as a business owner. So you really want to be passionate about what you do. And if you have that passion, I think that's really the first step to getting started. So think about what are you truly passionate about? Oh yeah, thank you, Going Green Mom, for reminding people to hit that like button. It does help quite a bit. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Sharon says business plan and what you want to do, and is there a market for it? Exactly. So a lot of the things we're talking about is really, that's exactly what we're doing here, is we're forming a business plan. As you know, most businesses fail when they first get started. So if you have a business plan first, which most people do not, then you're going to be much more likely to succeed, and not only succeed but thrive, and do so in a way where you don't have to take on much debt, and you can manage your cash flow much better if you are planning these things up front. And it's going to take a lot of stress off by just going through these processes. Hey, Dave. Hey, Cal. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so start with passion, and then I would say, what is your skill set? That's so. What is your passion, and then what is really your skill set? What do you excel at, or what do you feel that you know better? Things you can do better than other people. Not because you're better than other people, but just things you're just really good at. Like, are you good at carpentry work? Are you good at graphic design? Like for me, like my skill set is obviously accounting. I've gotten 13 years of like formal education in accounting just through actual real world work experience plus a college degree in it. So that is one of my primary skill sets. But how can you take your skill set, what you're good at, and monetize that? And that's what I think a lot of the people I'm talking to across the country, and just clients locally here in California, that's what they're looking to do. So usually they've developed some sort of skill set at their job, and now they're transitioning that skill set to become a part-time business owner or a full-time business owner. So think about what you're good at and what you would like to do, and then launch from there, because there's really no limits. So for example, you'd be surprised how much more, if you can do what you're good at right now with your own business, you would be so surprised of how much more money you can actually make. So let me just give you like a brief example. So at most accounting firms, and this is not true across the board, but generally, if you're like a staff level accountant or even a senior level accountant, when you compare, once you know how the business works, if you compare your pay to the owner's pay, you're only going to make about 1/4 of what they make. So imagine that if you could make closer to what the owner makes. So there's a tremendous difference in pay gap there. And that's just the structure of that kind of business. But you have to know what those numbers are. And we're gonna talk about that as we go through the presentation. Growing Green Mom says mod habits die hard. What do you mean by mod habits? Sharon says I hear a lot of drop marketing use different platforms of social media. A lot of drop marketing. I'm not using drop marketing. I don't think so at this point in time, but I can tell you that social media has been a huge benefactor of my success for my practice so far. Calendar Bum, my email is on my website at www.mikekelleycpa.com. You can find it there. My website, of course, is reserved for people who are seeking professional accounting services or tax services or consulting things like that. But yeah, you can find um, my website address there, and there's a way to contact me. In fact, I'll just pull this up real quick if I can just share my screen with you guys real quick. You can see. Let's see, share screen. Let me do this. So here's my website, and we're going to talk about websites here in just a bit. I did make this myself, so that's why um, I had to try to figure all this stuff out from scratch, because when I went to actually see how much it cost to have somebody build a website for me, they told me it was going to cost $10,000, and I didn't have $10,000 available. So I said, okay, I'm just going to build my own here. But yeah, my website, my email address is right there. And like I said, it's I if you have questions for YouTube, please send them over YouTube. But if you are actually seeking like consulting services or actual accounting services, then please contact me through there. All right, here. So that's where you can find my website. Let me see if I can just on share this again. There we go. Okay, let's keep going. So the next thing to think about before launching a business is, do you want to be in business by yourself, or do you want to have a partner? Now that's a big question, because you can always start off in a business by yourself and then have plans to merge later on. So I might actually be working with somebody else in the future, but right now I just started solo. But be thinking before you even start, be thinking, would you like to have somebody else involved in the business to give you additional leverage? Maybe they have a different skill set than you do that would really help serve your clients or help you better sell your products. Maybe you're good with the numbers and they're great at sales. So just be thinking about your strengths and weaknesses versus what they can bring to the table, and see if it's worth bringing somebody else in. Now, I don't have any employees at this point in time, and I don't have any other. I'm the sole owner of my S corporation, but you know, I do contract out work with some other people to make sure I'm delivering the highest quality product possible to my client. So I have one gentleman I can contract with. He sometimes will help me review some of the more complicated work I get that comes my way, just to make sure it's done. An extra set of eyes to make sure everything is how I think it should be, and confirm that the quality of the product is good. And that, because I want to make sure, I don't pretend to know everything. You guys know I don't know everything, right? But people sometimes assume accountants do. It's not true. Accountants are usually good in certain areas, right? So, like, I'm good with real estate. I'm good with helping people start businesses, learn how to operate businesses, investments, understand like cryptocurrency and other types of investments and things like that, and how it works from a taxation standpoint, and discussing entity structures. But it's just one of those things where it's good to have somebody else in your corner. Think about who you can network with who also does what you do or knows similar things to what you do, because it's not always just about getting clients, but it's about who else in your network can help you leverage your business to help serve your clients. So be thinking, broadly about that. You could totally, Growing Green Mom says, you could totally link the website on your about page. Yes, this is true. Actually, I've started listing my website in my what is it? My comment section, or not my comment section, but the description section of some of my newer videos. And if you've never thought about doing YouTube, I highly recommend it. Or well, it doesn't have to be YouTube. It could be Instagram. It could be another platform. Whatever you really like doing, totally fine. But social media, guys, it's just crazy. Like I can tell you that every time I post a new video, generally on my YouTube channel, I usually get one or two contacts seeking accounting services on my website. They then find my website, and then they go to the contact me part, and then they're emailing me for, hey, do you do tax services? Do you do tax planning? So the business I've been getting just from YouTube alone has been absolutely insane. Like I get so much business. In fact, my largest client is from YouTube, and I work currently with clients from Florida, Texas, New York. Let's see. I have a couple clients up in Mississippi. A lot of my clients though are based in California, but I have clients that are currently located all around the country. Sharon says, "Good customer service is the key." You know, it really is. Um, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's one of the ways I really try to distinguish myself from some of the other accountants. So what I'm hearing is that they might be seeking help with their taxes or accounting records or whatever, but I I kid you not, guys. Like they're telling me that I'm getting these phone calls saying that we've messaged our accountant for months and we have not heard anything. So they're just, people in general are not getting good communication anymore. I don't know if it's because of staff shortages or they're just too busy. I don't know why they're experiencing this, but this has been a very common problem I've been hearing all throughout the country. Is they just cannot find somebody who can really communicate with them effectively and get the work done. And so I helped a mortgage lender here recently, and she lives down in Southern California, and that was exactly the case. And she knew of me because of YouTube, and she contacted me and she said, "Hey, my accountant, they're not getting my returns filed. They didn't file an extension. Can you help me? Like we're late on this." And yeah, I took care of her, because I was just shocked that if you're in business, how could you not communicate with your clients? To me, it's just so unprofessional. So anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of that going on. So customer service is absolutely essential. And I don't know if I ever told you guys, but when I was like 17, like 16 or 17, I used to work at the grocery store. So I worked for Rayleigh's or the Nob Hill grocery store chain in the Central Valley, and that's where I got my first customer service experience. And before that point, I was always would recognize people by their shoes because I was really shy, and I just couldn't bring myself to like look somebody in the eye. Well, that job snapped me out of that quite quickly, because I would have to interact with about 200 customers every single day. And so that's, I think, what helped me feel more comfortable doing stuff like this and like public speaking and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it's customer service is king. Going Green Mom says, "Ouch, returning phone calls should be a thing. I tried talking to someone after dad passed, and it was similar in 2019. 1 out of 5 places actually returned calls." Wow. It's just mind-boggling to me of how you can operate that way as a business owner. So I'm sorry you experienced that. Okay, so Nick says, what equipment? So okay, so this is one of the things early on, I think, and this is why it's so important to plan this stuff out ahead of time. And I'm going to share this with you guys, and just so you can kind of see it. I know the screen resolution might not be that great, because I'm using StreamYard. It's the first time I've ever tried this platform. And I have not bought the professional version yet. I'm just kind of seeing how it goes. So let me see if I can share this, and let me see can you see that okay? Let me zoom in. So these were just like some chicken scratch notes I was making as an outline. So whoops, now you can't see it. I drug it to the wrong screen. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, this is starting to get my bearings here. Okay. Okay, so what equipment do you actually need to get started? And this is, I think, if you plan this stuff out, you can save yourself a lot of money, because you might not need as much equipment as you think. So, like for example, are you going to be a landscaper? Okay, well, can you get a used lawnmower? Can you get a used, hedge trimmer or something like that? What can you buy that you don't need to pay full price for? Or maybe a lot of people are giving that stuff away. And so like for my own practice, for example, I had to think about what I needed. So it was a printer, and I have a separate scanner. Let me see if I can move my camera real quick. And I don't know if it's going to reach, but see this little scanner right here? This is the Fujitsu Scan Snap. And if you have a business that has to process a lot of paper documents, this thing is so amazing. It's so amazing. It can process like 30 documents per minute, and the resolution and the clarity is just superb. I can see the details of every receipt I scan, even if it's crinkled up. It looks amazing on screen, and it's just how I keep all of my records and how I can quickly scan all of my clients' files. So if you ever need a good scanner, and this thing only scans, that's what it's meant for. Is I would recommend the scanner, and I think it's like $400, but to me it's definitely worth every single penny, and it does front and back. So Jennifer says it's the best. Yeah, for me it has been. It's been a lifesaver. So so what else? Printer, scanner. I have a separate business phone. I got a separate line for my business, and that allows me to fully deduct my phone cost. But yeah, just think about what do you actually need to get off the ground. And there's a lot of stuff you're not going to need. Like you don't need the fancy, like you might want to do Zoom meetings in your business, but you don't need that from the get-go. You could just get a cheap camera to do that. You don't need a high resolution camera necessarily. So most businesses these days, if it's remote, you can get off the ground for like a couple $1,000, or like I would say like less than $10,000. Yeah, you just need a computer, a camera, the basics, and maybe a website, which we're going to talk about, and you can get things going. Okay. And the communication devices as well. Like internet, obviously a good internet provider is essential, because you want to be able to have, especially for like what I do, if you're uploading a lot of things or doing a lot of conferences, I would say internet's crucial for that. Fax, like as a CPA, if a lot of things we have to fax things to the IRS. It's a lot more efficient than mailing it. And so, and that's actually the only other than mailing things to the IRS and trying to call them, the only other way to get documents to them is to fax them, believe it or not, because their system is so archaic. So having a fax system in place to me is important. And you don't have to have like a fax machine. You can actually there's electronic fax services that will send a fax to them via email. And I use one, I think it's called SR Fax is what I use to do that. And it's like $80 a year. I don't know. It's super cheap. It's cheaper than me getting a separate phone line. But yeah, just think through like what you need, list out everything you think you need, and then price it out before you actually spend the money to get started. And that's what I would recommend, just so you have a good idea of what your cash outlay looks like. Sharon says, but I do taxes for a living, and dealing with IRS and the rebates and unemployment forgiveness. What a nightmare. Oh yeah, it is. It is a nightmare dealing with the IRS. Okay, what skills do you think you need to improve on? I would say would be number 6. So, you might be good at sales. Some people are great at sales. Some people aren't. Some people are really good at accounting or other skill sets, or like graphic design. So think about what areas you need to improve in to really make you successful in your business. Because if you're doing your own business right now, you're going to see that it's very involved in terms of you have to do every single role, right? Usually when you first get started, you might not have anybody to help you. And so you're going to be doing the accounting, you're going to be doing the marketing, you're going to be doing the sales presentation. So all of that. So think about what areas you need to improve on. And you might be IT, like you might not know how computers work. So you might need to have somebody teach you how to do more of that stuff. So but before starting, think this stuff through. And I think people miss these parts, so that when they're actually up and running, it really slows down their business and the kind of turnaround they can give to their customers. So the more you can plan this stuff out before launching, that the more I think you'll be successful. And then number 7, how will you fund the startup cost of your business? So the startup cost. So for me personally, like how did I fund this business? So one was with the YouTube channel revenue. So last year, and I don't really sell anything over YouTube. It's mainly just, free information and free education. So for me, like I used a lot of that ad revenue from the videos to fund my startup costs for this business. And I think like I don't mind sharing with you guys, like just an ad revenue last year I made like 24,000 from YouTube ads. And like I said, that's with no Patreon because I don't advertise a Patreon. That's with no super chats. That's with none of that. Just from ad revenue. And we'll see where it goes this year. I don't know how much I'll make, but the other way I funded it though is through dividend income. So if you have dividend income outside of a retirement account, just like within a normal brokerage, yeah, it's investing in your business. I consider to be an investment. So, think about how you're going to capitalize your business. And it could be debt, it could be your savings. So, think about how much you want to risk, before you get started. Okay, here. Um, let's go down to the next one. Oh, and who are your competitors? So, before you launch a business, always consider, who else is out there doing what you're doing. And I would say it's like start locally in your community. Like who else, like if you want to, do landscaping services, who else is doing landscaping services? And see if they have a website, see how they market themselves. You can learn a lot from, get ideas for your own business just by studying other people's businesses. And so, I mean, I think I think just by knowing who your competition is, it's helpful. Not just because they're your competition, but these are other people you could refer your clients to as well if you, for whatever reason, can't serve them. So it's good. You might even reach out to some of these people and see what they're doing. Sometimes they'll talk to you. Sometimes they'll mentor you. You don't know. I've had a number of people I've talked to that I used to work with, owners of previous firms, and they've been great to me, and they've actually been referring a lot of business to me, which, believe it or not, like I've never expected that. But yeah, just see who your competition is, and then how will you be different than your competition? What's going to make you stand out? Are you the lowest price in town? Do you provide better service? Do you provide a more comprehensive service package? All these things. So think through that and how you want to be different. So a few of the ways I differentiate myself is obviously through like education, free education on YouTube. I will really I strive to really communicate to my clients where they're at and help explain things to them. Most people don't do taxes and operate a business, so they need help understanding how it works. So I'm happy to look at how they're doing their accounting. I'm happy to hear. No, I ask them, okay, what are you doing from a marketing perspective? So I really try to learn as much as I can about their business and just give them ideas. Now, I don't tell them what to do, but I give them ideas to think about so they can decide what's best for how they want to operate their business. Does that make sense? That's the kind of extra level of advice I give is sort of a consulting, sort of the consulting side of things is to really look at it full picture. And I'm not the cheapest tax return preparer in town, absolutely not. But I strive to give them more insight to their business and what they can do differently. And I think that's one of the reasons people come to me or have been coming to me recently. Network, Sharon Hart Thompson says, network in your community. Absolutely, Sharon. That's a fantastic point. So you can, like I said, you can network with other professionals. You can network, like, so if you, let's say you used to work at a company, but like, let's say a landscaping company, but now you do your own landscaping. Well, you can still network with those previous landscape professionals. And like I said, keep that relationship. They might have, once they know that you're in business, if they like you, they might actually send clients your way if they're too busy to serve those clients. So you just don't know how things are going to work out. And then also consider from a networking standpoint, because one of the hardest things I find when getting started in business or before starting is having a network in place. So even before you launch your business, think about, are there local networking groups you can join? And you typically will find there's a lot of business groups in your community, if you look for them, who would meet on like a weekly basis. And it could be people in various different professions who are trying to network with one another, learning about one another, and learning to trust one another in business. And it's like a referral group, and so you can check out something like that as well. I'm currently part of a referral group here in Modesto, California, and so far it's been going pretty well. I find it worth the time to do that. And Kel says, how did you decide on the type of client and target to serve? That is a really Calendar Bum says, Mike, are you a BNI member? I'm not a BNI member, but it's similar to BNI. I know what you're talking about, Calendar Bum, but I've never officially joined BNI. But I think it's the group I'm in is very similar to that. I'm giving it a shot. I'm still a little skeptical about it because I want to give it like a year because I've heard mixed things about referral groups, but so far it's going well. I can tell you that. Um, okay, I want to get back to Kel's question because I thought she had a really good question. How did you decide on the type of client target to serve? Well, that's such a good question, and that's one of the things on this list actually. But I think so for me, what helped me decide who I wanted to serve is I found when I was working at because I worked at 4 different accounting firms in my career. I felt like I could only serve like the really wealthy individuals there, like the really wealthy business owners or real estate investors at those companies. And I felt like there was a huge need to serve. If there was like an underserved community of that's the smaller business owners, the ones who are just getting started or who have been in business for a short time. They might not have a huge company yet, but they're growing. And so for me, I had a real passion to serve people who are just getting started in business or who have side hustles or who are wanting to get into real estate investing. And I do have a number of clients who are real estate investors, but so I think I had to determine to help me decide what clients to target. I wanted to determine, okay, what am I good at? So like real estate type of, I understand like real estate investments and from a taxation and accounting standpoint, very well, because I did a lot of that during the course of my career. So that I've worked with a lot of nonprofits. I've done a lots of estates and trust work in terms of the tax portion of that. And then I've worked with a lot of businesses. So I don't do like a lot of construction clients per se, but just like I said, a lot of smaller companies. They could be small C corporations, small S corporations, small partnerships, just smaller in general. Usually the companies would have like less than 100 million in revenue per year. That's the target I decided to focus on. And a lot of those companies have less than. I don't think any of my current clients have more than. Yeah, none of them have more than 100 employees at this point in time. And so yeah, I think just figuring out who you're passionate about serving is going to really help you direct your marketing. In fact, you should figure that piece out before you start doing your marketing so that it's more streamlined and you're going to attract the customers you're really looking for. Good question. Okay, so how do you envision your work schedule will be? So it's and I feel for you guys. Like if you have a job and trying to do your own business, it's really hard. It's very challenging. I did YouTube on top of a job for years, and it's tough. But when you go into your business for yourself, full time or part time, it's a whole nother layer of complexity. So figure out when can you best work in your business? Is it the weekends? Is it early in the mornings? Is it at nights? Because it's gonna affect you in more ways than you think. So it's gonna affect your relationships, like it could be your marriage, your friendships, all these things. It's gonna take time away from those things, and so you're gonna have to set some boundaries and think about how many hours per week you want to commit. Now, as a full-time business owner, I can tell you that there's some days where I work like 5 to 10 hours, and there's other days where I'll work like 12 hours or 13 hours, mainly during tax season. But often you might find yourself working more than you think because you have to keep your accounting records up to date. You have to keep the marketing going, all these different things. So, depending upon how involved you are in your business, those are just things to kind of think about how you're going to do that and not burn yourself out. Because it's easy to burn yourself out. Like these past couple weekends, I've taken it off just because I've been so tired. But I want to keep YouTube going because I really do enjoy doing this YouTube content. But it's draining. I can tell you, I enjoy it, but it's at the same time, it takes a lot of mental processing to put all this stuff together and get all that information out there. But I still enjoy it. I still enjoy it for sure. Okay, so let's keep on going down the list here. And I won't go too long today. I don't think I'm going to go like way down the list because it would take like hours. But I think this is like a good initial start. But I'll do a few more here, and I'll probably jump off the stream in the next 20 minutes or so. But I'm really having fun with this. So I appreciate you guys, hanging in here with me, even though I'm like stumbling on my words and still trying to get my bearings. Oh yeah, how number 11, how will this business affect your personal life or your marriage? Oh, this one is like probably one of the most, should be like near the top of the list, to be honest, because having a supportive spouse and having your spouse on board with what you want to do is so crucial. I mean, it's if you have an unsupportive spouse in this process, you're gonna feel like you're pulling a ball and chain behind you, and it's gonna make everything 10 times harder. So, as much as you can, openly communicate with your spouse about this and figure out how you can, launch a business. And if they're willing to help you, that's great. That's awesome. But if they're not, then you might have to find support for what you're doing somewhere else. So I don't think a lot of people talk about that, but as much as possible, get your spouse or at least your friends and family on board if you can. Okay, let's see here. We've already talked about if you work full time or part time. One of the things I wanted to mention is a lot of people don't know. There's a ton. What What'd you say, Calendar Bum? I am loving this. I want to see all 50 questions. Dividing it up different live broadcasts is even better. Yeah, I think I'm going to divide it up because it's just there's too much to cover in one video, and I'll probably run out of breath or run out of steam before I can actually finish it. um, okay, let me take a look at where we're at here because I'm going to be getting cross-eyed looking at this. Number 13. How will this affect your savings or monthly budget? Most businesses spend money to make money. Don't expect to make money right away. Yeah, okay. This one, what people tend to do, I find, is they're so excited to jump into business and start trying to make money, right? But they don't lay out the monthly cost of running a business. And so one of the things I did, and this is a crucial part of a business plan, actually, and I'll have to find it at some point and bring it up on screen, maybe in another video, but what I did that really helped me, I treated my business and I would recommend this to anybody. I honestly would. I treated my business just like my monthly budget for my personal finances. So with my personal finances, what did I do? I listed my income, how much my wife and I make monthly on average every single month. And then I listed every single expense I can think of: insurance, groceries, food, gas, mortgage, credit card. Well, I don't have credit card payments, but if there was debt payments, I would list those on there. You guys get the idea. Phone services, utilities, all that. Everything is individually listed. So I know exactly how much every single thing cost. I did the same thing with my business. And what's funny, so I created a list. So what are my expenses for my accounting practice? Well, I have insurance. I have business insurance, like liability insurance. I have, what else do I have? I have the different services I pay for. So I have a calendar service where people can schedule their own appointments on my calendar. I think that's like $12 a month. That's Calendly is what I use. Calendly. I recommend it to anybody. Because it saved me a tremendous amount of time in terms of me setting up appointments. I can just send a person a link and they can schedule their own appointment, and then I'll just show up at that time. That's been working great. But that's $12 a month. What else? My fax service is like $7 a month. But the big ones, I would say for me, and a lot of people don't understand this, like every business is different, but for me, my largest expense currently is my software cost. So I use professional grade software. That's why I don't use TurboTax. I don't use TaxAct or nothing against those things, but I use the software the big firms here in California use. I use the same software, but it's extremely expensive. On like a monthly basis, what is it? What does my software cost? Yeah, if I were to annualize out my software cost, it's close to like probably more than that. Hold on, it's like $600 or $700 a month. That's how much the software costs, just the software. And so, list everything out that you think you need, and then what will happen is put the list down after you've listed everything out. Come back a week later, and you're going to think of more things to list on that list. You're going to have more expenses that you can think of. And you're going to have even more expenses as you get started in your business that you have not listed. But the more you can list it out, and the more you can annualize those expenses to figure out exactly how much cash flow is leaving your pocket every month to operate and just run your business, you're going to know your numbers, right? If you've ever watched Shark Tank, it is so freaking important to know your numbers. Well, if you know exactly what you're spending every month, roughly, then you're going to be on top of your game, and you're going to ensure that you're going to you're more likely going to set the proper price for your products and services before you sell them. Like another cost would be my website, right? But my website's totally worth it. I get one of the things I'll mention in this video is that I think before you get started in business, one of the things you absolutely need is a website. And I'm not talking like Facebook community page, none of that stuff. I mean like an official website, because it's going to set you apart like as a professional of what you do. And I would say about a third or more of my business comes through my website. So without that website, it would be a lot harder to conduct business. Now, I do my web services. I did it all myself, and I'm no. Let me pull back up that web page here real quick. Let me find it. I think I hid it from myself. Here we go. Okay, so I just went through. It's called HostGator. Let me search HostGator here. There's all different like website platforms you can go to, but this is where I went to make my website, and I think I pay like $6 a month right now to operate it, and that's going to go up to like $15 eventually per month. But when I actually like went to a website developing agency or like a marketing agency, they wanted to pay me to pay $10,000 for 3 web pages. I said no way. Like there's just no way I'm doing that. Like maybe if I was like really well off, I think they would serve. I think they serve like the higher end clients. That's what they're probably there for. I could see it at that point, but when you're first getting started, the one of the biggest problems is you don't have the money to get started, right? You're not making money yet, and so you got to find if you can just find ways to get started at a cheaper price and level up your services over time. I think it's going to be far more effective, at least personally. That's my opinion. Sarah says, "Excellent live, very helpful and honest information." Going Green Mom says, GoDaddy with WordPress has been great way to websites as well. Yeah, GoDaddy's, a lot of people I know use GoDaddy. Now, my website, this website was built with WordPress. And I'm going to actually be paying a web designer here probably later this year to look at this, because on the mobile, what I didn't know, because I'm a noob to making websites, is not what I do, is I didn't realize like how different the mobile version of your website looks than the computer version. Like the computer version, like to me, looks okay. Like it gets me by, but I had to really when I actually went to it on my mobile phone, it looks completely different. I'm like, oh shoot, this is not looking good. So he's gonna help me fix some of that on the phone, because there's some parts about the mobile that don't look how I would like them to. But this website, it's with WordPress, and it took me quite a bit to learn how to do this. I searched a lot of YouTube videos, to be honest, because I don't know jack about WordPress. But you can actually buy templates to help you make your site, and so that's what I did. And I would recommend, if you're not really good with WordPress or website design, I would recommend getting a template, because it's like it was like $40. It's so cheap to me. Like the amount of time it saved me is 100% worth the $40. Like it saved me so much time. And it just gave me a structure to work from with the embedded code, and then I could just duplicate that code and make new pages with that existing structure. Does that make sense? So I would totally recommend it. Now, if you don't have time to build a website, then reach out to your local community and see who can help you build one, and just see. So like, I would guess that like most websites, if you pay somebody to build a website for you, it's probably going to cost at least a couple $1,000 at least. But if you go to like a higher end firm, it's probably going to be 10 grand or up. I can just tell you that. So it's a lot more expensive than you might think, but it's still, to me, it's 100% necessary. And then my intake form, I'll show you guys my intake form. This is actually through WordPress. It's called a plugin. I think it's called a plugin is what they call these things. So you download a free plugin. I think this one was, the plugin is like an extra feature it runs within your website. And this one allows clients to actually contact me. They can fill in their name. They can fill in their email address, their phone number. How do they find me? How do they hear about me? What are they looking for? I think this one's free, but this is how people contact me on my website when they're actually seeking like accounting services and tax services. This is how they typically get in touch with me. or they send me an email to my website address or to my email address up here. And that's how people reach me. And then I try to respond back with at least message them back within 2 days. And that's what I put on my website. I will do, let's see, I will provide my utmost effort to return correspondence within 24 to 48 hours. And so that, and yeah, like that's exactly what I strive to do. And so if somebody messages me, I reach back out to them, and uh, basically it sends me an email saying that they filled out my intake form here, and then I respond to them on that email, and then we set up an appointment from there. And then I usually will interact with them via Zoom. Some of them are locally, so then I might meet with them in person here in Modesto, California. But most of them, I'm contacting them over Zoom or phone or text message, to get that conversation started. Hopefully that makes sense. Jennifer says, sometimes your local community college will have students who can hire to design your website either as a project for class or pay. That's a great suggestion, Jennifer. Absolutely. There's a lot of people out there who are just trying to get experience, and sometimes people you don't know, but sometimes they'll take on a work really cheaply just so they can get experience or exposure to what you're looking for. And yeah, they might do it for free. They might do it for minimal cost. So that's an excellent tip, Jennifer. Absolutely. And plus, like, if you can then in return, if they do that for you for free or for a low cost, you can give them a recommendation, which is going to be completely worth it for them and help get their business off the ground. So that's a great point. Going Green Mom says there are also free templates available too. If you don't find something you love that charges, yes, I'm all about my free is my 4-letter favorite F word is free. Yeah, as much as you can. I would say, like, if you can use things for free, absolutely go for it. And because sometimes you just don't need, like, so my video editing software that I use when I edit like a pre-recorded YouTube video, I use the cheapest version of that possible because I do financial videos. I'm not trying to make like an epic movie or something like that. I don't have the production quality, obviously, to do that. But you don't work. I always would encourage people to work at the minimum level possible and level up from there. I have found, like, even for me, meeting, like, so one of the things I had on my list is where are you going to meet people to do your sales presentation. So often, like, if people are local, I'll have them come over to my house and we'll meet in my backyard, or I'll meet them. I'll meet them at their residence. So some people I've met at Starbucks just to have a conversation with them. And I was really hesitant and apprehensive about doing that kind of meeting because I didn't have a formal office building. I'm like, what are they going to think? Because I always, like, my experience has been in these really nice firms, really nice plush offices and all this and that. And so I'm like, man, what are they going to think of me? Are they going to think I'm unprofessional? But what I found after doing this now for the last 4 months is that people don't care about that crap. They just want to be treated well. It's amazing. Like, if you just if you treat people well and actually do what they've asked you to do and help them, they are thrilled to work with you. It's just common sense, right? Like, if you, like, it doesn't matter if you have a nice office building if you treat them like shit. Excuse my language, but if you treat people and give them the service they're seeking and really, like, make yourself stand out and give them good service, that's what they want. I mean, they're going to be happy and they're going to keep coming back to you. And as an example, I've worked with the clients I've been working on just over YouTube, all of you over the internet. I'm getting referrals now from other states from my people I'm working with from YouTube. I was like mind blown, and they were just impressed that, like, I gave the customer service I said I was going to give, and I was able to turn around the projects that at the time I said I was going to turn them around at. And it's good, just being good at upfront communication and just setting expectations. And you don't need to lie to people. Just tell them where you're at and be honest with people, and things will work out most of the time. Jennifer says, I'm doing this right now for marketing materials. That's awesome, Jennifer. Going Green Mom says, what plugin are you using for that? It looks really good. I'll have to look that up. I'll have to get back to you on that one. If you send me an email on my website, shoot me an email and I'll see if I can find that plugin for you, and I'll message you back what it is. Because off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's free. They can, Sharon Hart Thompson says they can reuse it on their resume. That's right. Green Mom says if you are targeting the small business that might be working out of their home too, it is a nice normalization. Yes. So I think, and I'm probably gonna start to wrap up the live stream here, just because we've been on for about an hour. Um, so yeah, I think after the pandemic, what I found is that a lot of people, whether they're business owners or clients or whatever, they're more accustomed to working remotely. They're way more used to jumping on Zoom, or just having a phone conference or meeting you at your house. So if you feel like you really need an office, like I mean, it depends on what you're doing, of course, but if you don't like need a physical office and you can work out of your home, then it's not a bad way to start. Because I think if I were to try to rent a place right now, just to even have a desk somewhere here in California, I think it would cost me somewhere between like 400 to 1,000 a month, and my profit, my margins on my business would totally change. And so I would have to change my pricing structure and everything else in order to accommodate that at this point. And so by working out of my home, I'm able to charge customers a more competitive price for my services, and it just helps me too, because it helps me take in more profit to help grow my business, if that makes sense. My website address, I'm gonna post it here. I'll post this in the comments. MikeKellyCPA.com. Sorry, I forgot. You guys probably can't even see it because it's so small on that screen. There we go. That's my website address. So I think well, I'm probably gonna wrap things up here. We can do this again, and we can jump on another live stream at another time. I know this is like really early in the morning, and as you can tell, I've already had my cup of coffee to like give me the energy to do this presentation. But yeah, was this helpful? Did you guys like this? I don't know. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. I'll probably like repost this at some point. Because I think these streams are recorded, so I'll try to repost this so other people can watch it who couldn't attend the stream. You said, "Oh yeah, I'm on a phone. Thank you." Well, good. Yeah, I really want to help people wanting to get started in business and just learn, basically sharing what I know through my experience as a CPA. As you can tell, like I pretty much share everything for free, and I love doing this. Like I'm at the heart, I'm an educator, and I almost became a teacher. I don't know if I've ever told you guys that, but doing YouTube was a great way to complement that passion of mine of teaching. And I could at least do it through the channel. So it's been really nice. Calendar Bum says yes, awesome. I'm really glad you enjoyed this. And so there's a lot more on this list to cover. Like I think we just like touched like the first 15. Yeah. Oh, the last. Oh, Grant. Yeah. Look, kind of like what Jennifer was saying here. Like, because Jennifer made a really good point. Look for college students who are looking to get experience. Also, check with your local banker. Check with your check with the SBA website. There's a lot of free grants you can get. So you don't have to take on debt. Depending upon like what your business is and who you're looking to serve, you might be able to get a lot of funding just from other sources. So before putting your own money before investing a lot of your own money, see what's available for you in your local city and community. Because there might be a lot of funding for you that way, so that you don't have to get a bank loan. And I think the SBA website might have some detail on that, or a banker might know who to connect you with, because they're going to be in touch with like the low interest rate loans and all that kind of thing. But it just depends on where you live, I think, and who you know. So just ask around. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because people get it. Like, people are really striving to make more income these days due to the high inflation, this crazy economy we're in right now. And so they like more. I'm more than willing to help people out. Like, this is my passion, is helping people get started in business so they can earn an extra income, so they can invest more, so they can live the life they want to live, or even just make ends meet. You know what I mean? So thanks, Dave. Oh man, I really appreciate it from you, Dave. I'm so thankful for you. Like, I really am. Like, you've been with the channel. I think, Dave, you've been with me for like 4 years. So I'm truly honored that you're here. And same with you, Jennifer. Going Green Mom. Like, I know you've been with the channel for a while. Calendar Bum, how long have you been watching my videos? How long ago did you subscribe? Because I know you've been around for a while as well. Sharon, I think you have as well. It's nice to see so many friends in here. Dave says time flies. Yes, it does, sir. It does. So yeah, well, I will plan to do more of these, and I want to have also have. I'm still going to do pre-recorded content as well. So I'll do a mix of pre-recorded live stream or pre-recorded content and live streams moving forward. And I was nervous as hell to do this, just because like I didn't know how it was going to go. But I kind of feel like after my first experience that like, I'm just really hanging out with my friends here because when I'm talking to clients on Zoom, if I'm meeting them for the first time that they've watched my YouTube videos, it's kind of like talking to a friend. And so it's really if you're hesitant about live streaming, I'll say it's not that bad now. But in my mind, it was like such a hurdle to overcome the get over that initial fear because when I'm recording a video, I have I have a speech impediment and like a little bit of a stutter. So like I have to often redo my recordings and then edit out the blips and all that kind of stuff. And so I that was part of my hesitancy to do a live stream was that um problem I have. But you know, it's not too bad. And and we'll talk about more. We can talk more about like YouTube and doing social media later on because that's further down this list when starting a business. But I will tell you this: like if you can have social media presence, I can tell you, like, even here where I live in Modesto, California, it gives me such an edge over my competitors. Like, I had no idea how much business I would get from YouTube. And the fact that your clients can actually get to meet you online, like through your website and through your videos, like your videos sell you. Like you sell yourself through your videos if you just give out helpful information. And people learn to trust you. And you just, when they work with you, just give them no reason to doubt that trust. Follow through on what you say you're going to do and just do it. And yeah, you're going to talk the talk and walk the walk and you're going to do great. Like there's no doubt about it. So, um, oh, oh, Calendar Bump says about a yearish. I found you and you better not disappear. Yes, sir. I will try not to go missing, unless an angry client takes me out or something. I'll try not to disappear. Jennifer says it's much easier on Zoom because you can hear people talk back rather than just reading their comments. Yeah, it is a lot easier over Zoom, absolutely. And I can see their facial expressions and I can see if they're understanding what I'm trying to convey. Jennifer says I teach online as well and I know this can be challenging to juggle everything. Nice job. Well, thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, yeah, or Going Green Mom says or tax season. Yeah, I kind of disappear during tax. Well, actually, I try to be active as possible on here during tax season because that's when my channel gets the most hits in terms of views. So like every if you like for example like people come to my channel mainly for like tax videos and things like that. Sometimes they're some of my older investing videos, but I would say I get the bulk of my views for my channel in the first 4 months of the year. And you're going to find the same to be true for your business. Like there might be a period based on what you do that where you get more views than not. So that's your best time to market, or right before your busiest time is the best time to get your content ready, so you can market your products, your services, and then give valuable information, and people can find you from social media and then go to your website and contact you through your intake form. Dave says, I've learned a lot about tax loss harvesting this year. Oh, yeah. Well, the markets have been crazy this year. So there's a lot of losses to harvest, unfortunately, I think, for some investors. So I know a lot of my investments have gone down this year just because the market's been so volatile. And it probably still will be probably next year, I imagine. I don't see it going up anytime soon, but we'll see. Well, everybody, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I really appreciate all of you just stopping in to say hi, and it's been great to interact with you in the chat. And I will definitely do more of these, and I might do them. Live streams are pretty easy to do now, to set up. So maybe I can do them like during the week, like a weeknight or something like that, and we can try different time periods so that maybe I can have some pre-recorded content that can launch on Sunday, and maybe like a live stream during the week or something. That if that works for you, if that works for you. Calendar Book says, I haven't looked at your website yet, but have you added your videos to your website? It will raise your SEO. I have a few videos on my website. Let's see here. Let me find that. Let me minimize this. Do you Do you mean, well, I did try to upload a few of them directly to my website, but these are this is way out of date because I got so busy. I haven't updated this, but I did add some of the links to my website, and I need to add more. There's a way to automate this, so it's supposed to pull in like the newest video every week, but that's what I need to figure out how to do. I don't know how to do that yet, but yeah, I I think what it does help though, if you have a website, if you have a social media content, and all of it connects on Google, so it increases your SEO and search. So it recognizes who you are and what you do, and so your website, even if they're just searching for your website, it will help give it a better search ranking on Google, and people can find you a little bit easier. Awesomeness. Do what works for you, and I know I will accommodate you. And if I cannot make the thanks, Calendar Bum. So, all right, everybody. Well, you know how to reach me for like tax services and things like that through my website here. If you ever need help with anything, like I said, I work with people around the country. A lot of my clients from YouTube are actually here in California, but I work with people all over the place and that have various different needs. And yeah, happy to help you guys. But yeah, I just really enjoyed you hanging out with me, and having my friends here made it so much easier to produce this content. I felt, even though I was nervous, I felt a little bit less nervous. I don't. Going Green Mom says, I don't remember. I automated my Twitter feed, but I don't really use Twitter. Yeah, I got off Twitter. I just found it was so toxic for my own mental health, because the moment I moved away from like certain people's content, I would just see nothing but like garbage. The pretty frankly, it was just so negative and so hate. Some of the people on there were so hateful. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna get off this platform. But I might jump back on Twitter eventually, but I don't know. We'll see if Elon Musk buys it. Who knows? How that's gonna go. Counter Bum says live feed. I would love to see the recording too. Oh yeah, I will. I will post this. I will definitely see if I can save the recording and post this as a content to YouTube at some point this week. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining me. You guys are awesome. Yeah, for more content on how to grow your wealth and preserve your wealth through business ownership, investing, and mastering accounting and taxes. And I'll be talking more about accounting and taxes as well in the future. But make sure you subscribe to the channel to not miss upcoming videos, upcoming live streams, and things like that. And yeah, I make sure you're notified, because a lot of my subscribers are no longer notified of my videos. So I don't know why, but it just is that way. But I really enjoyed this, and it's a great way to start off a Sunday morning. I'm going to take myself and go try to get some exercise before it heats up. It's supposed to be like near 90 today here in California, but wherever you're at in the country, I really appreciate it and love you guys so much. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.